Back in the day, way before 1968, tennis wasn't even a competition. It was more about tradition and having fun. The sport lived in black and white, and the players, well, it looked like they were heading to a party and not a professional game. To be fair to them, it wasn't really a professional sport at the time, but those outfits were still outrageous. I'm talking about the pre-open era. This was one of the weirdest eras in the history of this sport. Why? Because this was the time when amateurs played the Grand Slams and pros weren't even allowed to show up. Yup, this happened. There was no prize money or any television deals for the players. Open era was all about gentlemanly vibes and questionable fashion choices. Despite all this, the pre-open era still gave us some legends of the sport, like Bill Tilden, Don Budge, who won all 4 slams in 1 year before it was cool, and then finally came Pancho Gonzalez. This era wasn't about who's making the most money, because no one was. This era was all about being remembered by the fans. This era was classy, enjoyable, the fans loved it. But it was clear that the sport needed a big shakeup if it were to put itself on the map, and a shakeup is exactly what it got. In 1968, tennis finally opened its doors and decided it was about time they let the professionals actually play the game.
Professional met amateur in the first ever championships open to both categories of player.
The Open era was born in 1968. The pros and amateurs were allowed to play together in the same tournaments, and let me say this, things got really spicy really quickly. Money started flowing in the sport. Television cameras started showing up at games, and the players obviously started giving it their all, hitting the ball harder and running faster. The Open era is what really put tennis on the map and turned it into a real sport. And just like that, tennis changed forever. We saw the rise of tennis icons like Bjorn Borg. Who can forget that ice-cold stare of his and those rock star hair? John McEnroe, who's basically the father of on-court tantrums, Martina Navratilova, Chris Evert, Pete Sampras, and Andre Agassi. The list is stacked with players who played a huge role in making tennis big. ATP and WTA were formed to represent the players and to show the world what this sport really is about by promoting it. Not only this, but ranking systems were also established to determine who's in deep water and who's ruling the game. It wasn't just another era in sports history. This era was the big leagues, the sport got faster, the rackets got lighter, and the drama, it multiplied.
Met each other. But the most important thing was not status, but the game.
The Open era gave tennis the swagger that it always deserved, because as the sport started to open up, so did the emotions. Players started showing fire, the fans started choosing sides, and the media also stepped up its presence big time in tennis, because it started telling narratives as well, not just results. The Open era set the tone for what was coming next, as it was the first time the best players were put up against each other for the world to watch. But what came next was something that nobody expected. After the Open era came dominance, ruthlessness, and supremacy. I'm talking about the era of the Big Three of tennis, also known as the Golden Era. These 3 guys are the reason why every tennis argument ends up in a GOAT debate, because it's hard to talk about tennis and not mention them. Federer, Nadal, Djokovic. Say these names at any tennis court in the world and everyone in the crowd will stop to listen to what you have to say. Roger Federer was buttery smooth on court. It felt like he's floating. The guy won 20 Grand Slams and had the most beautiful one-handed backhand you'll ever see. No one in the history of this sport could do it like him. It's easy to say that he owned the grass, hard court. Then came the pride of Spain, the king of clay, Rafael Nadal. He was a warrior on court, his energy, unmatched. His skills, unmatched, and his endless energy won him 14 French Open titles. And finally, Novak Djokovic. His mental strength was out of this world. He crashed Federer's and Rafa's party and went home with the biggest slice of the cake. Records broken, opponents dominated. The Serbian won everything there is to win in tennis, including the most weeks as the #1 player in the world. These 3 share over 60 Grand Slam titles between them, over 100 unforgettable battles, and more GOAT debates than you'll ever find anywhere else. But let's not forget about one other guy who still left his mark in this era despite playing with such greats. Had he not played in the same era as the Big Three, his career would have surely been a lot different. I'm talking about Andy Murray. Wait, don't get me wrong. He still had an amazing career. From Olympic golds to a Wimbledon title, the guy did win a lot, but his career deserves way more love than it gets. Speaking of tennis GOATs, we can't forget about the women who changed the game. While the Big Three made headlines, the women's game was blowing up with brilliance. Serena Williams wasn't just good, she was dominating. She has 23 Grand Slams under her belt. The woman played with power, grace, and always came up clutch under pressure. A true legend beyond the sport.
You can hear the effort from Serena.
While Serena Williams deserves the bulk of the credit, she wasn't the only one. Her sister Venus broke barriers. Justine Henin brought art to the game, and Sharapova brought the grit that was needed. The depth of the competition was instantly high. Never forget about the rise of players from all around the world as well. All of them, they truly put women's tennis on the map. Old legends refused to leave the game, and the new stars refused to wait as well. The late 2010s to 2020s was the transition era for tennis. New stars were born. Dominic Thiem won a Grand Slam in an emotional US Open final in 2020. Daniil Medvedev stepped in to slay Novak's slam record bid. He denied him the slam in 2021 with a clean game and a cheeky celebration at the end. Alexander Zverev, with his massive serve and lethal forehand, also showed promise. He did win an Olympic gold, but is still hunting that all-important Grand Slam title. Stefanos Tsitsipas, the Greek warrior with one of the cleanest backhands in the game, played a Roland Garros final but is plagued by inconsistency. Then came this second wave of players with Berrettini throwing cannon serves and Casper Ruud reaching 3 slam finals and silently climbing up the ranks. But Carlos Alcaraz was the real deal among them all. He was this fearless Spanish prodigy who made us believe that after the Big Three, this sport isn't dying. We all saw his comeback against Jannik Sinner at Roland Garros. Carlos won the match against all odds and made a comeback for the ages. It was an unbelievable game, and in the end, the player who wanted it more won. Speaking of Jannik, he's right in there too with the players who'll change the game. He announced his arrival with the Australian Open title in 2024, and some fans are already claiming that he's the best hard-court player who isn't named Novak. The next era of tennis is well and truly underway with players like Carlos and Jannik on board. And the women's game? Boy, oh boy, that's special as well. Iga Swiatek treats us to Nadal-esque dominance on clay. Coco Gauff? She became a Grand Slam winner before she even hit her 20s. It's safe to say that the future of tennis is in safe hands. Despite all these greats, fans are still confused if they'll ever witness an era like Nadal, Federer, Djokovic again. Or was that just a one-time thing? The game's evolving, and we're witnessing the future right in front of our eyes. 'Cause tennis today is not like it was a few years ago. It's become faster, louder, and now is more global than ever.
The right far sideline. What was called false.
To be 100%, he has to be intense.
That was some pass.
It's really tremendous.
We've got superstars from Spain, China, US, Poland, Russia, Canada. You just name a country, and it probably has a top 50 player. There's a new age of fans coming to the game. The courts are way quicker than before, and new formats like Fast Four, Laver Cup, and even mixed gender matches are changing how the fans experience tennis. From amateur battles to billion-dollar global tours. From wooden rackets to carbon fiber weapons. From silence in the stadium to roars of the crowd. These were all the eras of tennis we witnessed, and today, we are witnessing greatness with future stars, showcasing their skills day in and day out.